Hey, I feel like I've got several different kinds of music playing right now, but I think it might just be the magic of that particular tune. Can you hear me? My ThursdAGENTS. Hey, Jay Gray, good to see you, friend. It's un toi. I think I might have just said it's 1-3. So I'm having a little connectivity issue as per the usual. So I might. Okay, it's fairly good. All right. That's what it's telling me anyway. A good Thursdage unto thee, Duke, and learn music as well. Yeah, I like ThursdAGENTS as well. I do believe that came from one Owen Casey Stevens. You know, we used to do the program together. I'm so relieved to hear that Owen's cancer is in remission. It's always good news. But I'll tell you, boy, that we have to run a fundraiser for people's medication or for people's medical care is just, well, it just seems like a bunch of horse apples. Truly, the best agents are ThursdAGENTS. But hello to you, Learn Music. We've got Duke, of course. Talk to Jay Gray. See some other folks are in here as well. And, you know, I'm just really bummed that they made the change to StreamYard so that I can't go back and check out the prior chat because everyone was hanging out, you know, kind of having a little pre-funk, a little pre-party. And I wasn't even invited. But, you know, neither here nor there. It is an incredible time to be a ThursdAGENT. And it's just time for us to have a community update stream. There's so much to cover, so many great things to discuss. Not the least of which is, how are you all doing? I'm curious, how many of you are excited about the pending Age Insider program? You know, everybody that pledged over on the recent backer kit for the Expanse Transport Union edition will get 3 free months. And here's how those 3 free months are going to look. I wanted to kind of get into it a little bit so that people, you know, manage some expectations and just sort of make sure people understood what the deal was all about. Ultimately, it's this. There are a lot of great opportunities for our developers to do some special things outside of the norm. Not that we don't do special stuff, you know, just as part of our, you know, daily business, but this is real special stuff. Nice. Okay, awesome, Jay. That'll be great. Jay talked about doing the $5 back, which is great. Paul, good to see you, friend. You know, Paul runs an actual play that will linger in your psyche for some time if you so choose to participate in a Halloween Cthulhu Awakens stream. You will leave with a kind of residue, and it sticks around. But truly a good time. And I do, Paul. Isn't that link is still? Or you provide a on-demand viewing of that, don't you? I thought I watched it the other day, but maybe it was a dream. Maybe that's just all my dreams now, or bugs crawling under my skin, and you know, lengthy but successful magical, you know, sort of incantations and such to, you know, handle a particularly gritty, gross, you know, demon, which was, you know, that was something else. But I'm looking forward to it too. And I want to, Morgan says, I need more Expanse books. There's still 2 square feet of empty space in my house. I know that. Yeah, we kind of all do that, right? And spiders. Yeah. Good, 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 good. So yeah, we all need some more Expanse stuff, or just age stuff in general. Now, one of the things that I'm excited about as far as the age insiders is that I'm going to give you a little glimpse at what we do for the Cape and Cowl Club. Now, the Cape and Cowl Club, the genesis of that whole adventure was our Patreon, and we had a Mutants and Masterminds Patreon. We also had another Patreon for a work in progress called the Twilight. What was it called? The Twilight Accord, and it was a really great set of adventures. It was going to be, or it is going to be a D20 joint, and but for the Cape and Cow Club, which was once the Patreon, we do all kinds of cool things, and to see those cool things, I must only drop this modesty shield and and you'll get that. Of course, we need this as well. All right, so here's what's going on in November. Can everyone read that all right? It's a little on the small side, it feels like to me, but I got another stuff. Here's the breakdown. There's, of course, I'm missing one of the things that I want to do for November as well is get everybody's live streams up here. So if you are a streamer and you're doing some stuff, even if it's a one-off, or if you're planning to do some stuff, which is really the best way to do it, you get that information to me, and I will sing it from the mountaintops. Good, good, good. Learn music so I can read the November churn. So this is just a slice of stuff. We've got, of course, Moomamo is, we've already done that. We're at November 7th now, which is the ThursdAGENTS. Every Wednesday at around 4 p.m. Pacific, I do office hours in the tank. And what that means is I hang out, one second. I hang out with y'all and we get things done. Let's see what happened. There was something happening. Oh yeah, that there's this guy, David Bullock. He stopped by and just shared a bunch of really cool stuff and was looking for permission for some very, very cool things. And it was very enjoyable, David, for sure. But we got some stuff done, and we're gonna have David on the program. Probably we're looking in the future because this is a big project that he is working on with some other folks. And I do not want to even attempt to describe it without some detail, like what the name of it is, because I'm simple and easily confused. But that's the way you get it done. You come on over to the think tank, which is easily found at atomicthinktank.com. It's like our community hub. There's so much going on there that it is hard to pack it all into one single hour program. But I'm going to do my level best. And so Wednesdays, come hang out with me. Basically, we will, I'll tell you what really happens. It doesn't feel much like work. We hang out and we just talk about what's going on in the industry, talk about your favorite TTRPGs, some historical perspective on, things that went down in the past, and, all the tea that's fit for, print, and some of it not at all, but it's all good stuff, and you're all invited. All you have to do is head over to the tank. You'll see the event. You just click on it and it will kick you into a Zoom meeting. It's my digital office space. Yes, only the finest blether says I'm a good friend, Paul. Really, really good stuff. Very, very much fun. I enjoyed it. What's going on for the 28th of November? You see, that's a little gravy blob. Us Americans, we celebrate to a degree Thanksgiving. If by celebrate you mean pig out, fight with your family, and then pass out on someone's couch uncomfortably, only to wake up and eat some more, and then fight with your family some more. It's one of our finest traditions, and I wouldn't miss it for the world. But I use, of course, Gravy Squatch there as a sort of a bookmark for that particular day, because I shall be slathering myself in gravy and cranberries. And so, Let's see. Jay Gray says, honestly, if I can get an average of 5 years doing RPG preps and streams, I'd be able to commit time on my Twitch stream. You just got to do it, friend. That's Jay Gray, of course. And yeah, Jay, drop the links to your stream so folks can check it out and head on over there and subscribe and do all the good stuff so they know when you're going live. Jay Gray, also a phenomenal GM. I participated recently in a Mutants and Masterminds. That was it, wasn't it? It wasn't Mutants. It was Mutants and Masterminds. It was a blast. Had a lot of fun. It was me, Devious. Who else was with us? We had one or two other people. I'm telling you, it's all one long TTRPG blur. As I get notified that my connection's unstable, I know it's all unstable. So you'll also see on the 8th, we do the workshop. This is one of the coolest things I have ever. Warden Maximus, that's right. Yeah, that's right. It was a blast. We had a good time. And won the day. It was very enjoyable. So on the November 8th, there's a workshop that the Cape and Cow Club does. Again, that's the $8 a month. That program has been running for some time, for years now. And so it's got its own sort of heartbeat of stuff. But the workshop is incredible. Basically, what folks are doing is they are getting together and they're getting a master class on the creation of how to develop a TTRPG from the very beginning. And my phone is just blowing up and I don't actually know where it is. But it's wild. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna just check to make sure that nobody is on fire. Interestingly enough, and not to stress anybody out, but earlier there was some shotgun noises out front. That just happens sometimes in our neighborhood. But no, this is just friends who are, taking a bit of a breather today because it was a bit of a rough day for them, a rough week rather. But we won't get into that because we're talking fun stuff, TTRPGs. But the workshop is basically it's the Pinewood Project, and they are realizing the entire sort of scenario from the very beginning of a process and going through each step of the development of a TTRPG. In this case, a supplement for Mutants and Masterminds. And it is the Pinewood Project. It's a whole city of just all kinds of mischief, as one would imagine it to be. And it's just great. I have the joy of being able to kind of set stuff like this up and then to attend and listen and just see how much inspiration and in work, it's so exciting. And the people who are participating in it are so jazzed up about it. Jazzed up, I said, like I'm your grandma. They between the meetings, they just produce voluminous content, information, and background stories and all the things that you love about Mutants and Masterminds and TTRPGs in general. It is absolutely a highlight of my gig. One of the many, honestly, ThursdAGE being another. And do you have a name for the Age version yet? I'm thinking I want to call it the Age Insiders. Agents. Okay. Paul says it's amazing. You get direct access to the developers as they explain step by step how to do it. And then you go and you do it with critique and direction and just a lot of really great practical information on how to develop a TTRPG from people who have been doing it for some time now. That's anytime to sit down and have a chat with our luminaries, Alex Thomas, Steve Kenson, legend in his own right, is just fantastic, and it's very accessible. Those are the kinds of experiences and aspect that we want to introduce to the Age Insiders program. Now, what's the word on the street? How do folks feel about the name Age Insider? Is that do you like it? It's not my most favorite or my most evocative naming convention. So I'm open to the idea. because it is really a program that is meant to support you and to be interesting to you. So if you've got a thought on that, in addition, I know that there's been a lot of questions about, well, what if I'm in the Cape and Cow Club? Can I do the other club? And is it, what's it going to cost? So we're working on all those details, but my vibe is if you want to support, you like it. Okay. Swan May says, I actually rather like it. Thank you. So if you want to engage in that program and you're a part of the Cape and Cow Club, we're going to work out a little discount action for both, because it's really honestly at $8 is not a get rich quick scheme, but it does allow us to pay for things that wouldn't have been created if it weren't for that little stream of income. And so yeah, that the workshop is it's gangbusters. It's a lot of fun, and we're looking to do the same thing. It's not just sort of the Age Creators Alliance. It's more than that. It's really in-depth opportunities to kind of dig in. And one of the other things that we'll be doing, you'll see on the 13th, we're jumping over Mumamo on the 11th, of course, every Monday. Same time in the same location. We just swap out the skin suits and decorate it a little differently. And it's all about superheroes with Alex and Steve, and get special guests. It's a lot of fun. But on the 13th of November, we do a developer chat. That is an opportunity for you to just sit down and hang out with developers and to talk about very specifically what is coming, what are we working on, sneak peeks, early looks, that kind of thing. I have it on good authority that members of the Cape and Cowl recently received before everybody else, and as a thank you, it was without charge, the latest release from Green Ronin, and they got it handed to them on a silver platter. I think that's what I heard anyway. And those are the kind of things we want to do as well for the Age Insider. So the developer chat we'll be doing an Age one as well. And, we're trying to find the cadence that works great. I think we've really done it with the Cape and Cow Club, because it goes workshop, developers chat, and then an actual play. We've committed to a regular actual play run either by Steve or by Alex. And that happens once a month, and it's broadcast. It's live streamed. Now, so if you have an opportunity to play with Steve, you get a 1 shot. If you play with Alex, you get a 15 shot, which is really nice. Buy 1, get 14 for free. So it is, as Alex is often wont to do, will take that, if the people who are participating in an Alex run actual play are showing even the slightest sort of interest and engagement, he will spin that into a story that will take you to, the ends of the universe. So yeah, it's really fun. And we give him the business for that, but it's really enjoyable. So yeah, we want to do that kind of thing. Now, here's what's interesting about the Age Insider as a opportunity versus Mutants Masterminds. Mutants Masterminds is M&M is what it is. Age is all the Age stuff, all of it. And that's a lot. And so I'm trying to think about, and I'd love to hear from you in the chat, your thoughts about, how would you expect the content to work on a monthly basis? So if we're looking at a month at a time, would you expect to see something from every single line, some kind of engagement or opportunity, or would you want to see themed months? Or would you, or something in between? Very, very interested in your thoughts on that, chat. So do let me know. But so we will be doing more live streams of Age games run by our team, and looking forward to that for sure. Let's see. Some of the notifications have been spotty in the past, but just fasting we're tightened up. Yeah, for sure. I've missed that. Has me being busy mean I've missed that? I'll go through all the notifications. I got to tell you, sometimes the notifications for the think tank can be a little hit, or it's either feast or famine. You get sort of everything like a fire hose, and then once in a while you're like, why am I not getting any? So I think they're working that stuff out. But the schedule has also been, locked down and is a lot tighter than it was. And we have a calendar devoted to that I update if there's a change, which there sometimes can be depending on illness, or maybe there's something exciting that replaces it. But yeah, so you can kind of expect the very same kind of vibe as it relates to how we schedule stuff for the Age Insider program. So there's the actual play we talked about. There's the Mumemo again, and then office hours, of course. ThursdAGE, Mumemo, and office hours, then Thanksgiving. So I kind of want to, as a first volley, maybe kick something off for us to get together, even if it's a smaller group to start, somewhere towards the latter part of November. And it is. I wouldn't even say that the clock would start on the three months, and to be real clear, the 3 months is an opportunity for us to share what our vision is, and then for us to adjust and mold that vision around the expectations of the people who will be attending. We will be offering, of course, as membership in the future. After that 3 months, you can be a yearly subscribers, and you get 3 free months from that. And then, of course, we have the addition. If you are somebody who is wanting to participate in Cape and Cowl, you can do that as well. We'll get very specific details together before any money is exchanged or expected. And so, yeah, it'll be fun. Let's see. What are some folks saying here? Jay Gray says, it's hard to say. I prefer for there to be a structured theme creating a through line. Yeah, I think so. Me too. And I think people will, it just gives you something to kind of hang your sort of ideas on, or gets you sort of thinking about what's coming up, so you're ready to engage with it. I think starting with Fantasy Age, and then Modern Age, then Blue Rose, then The Expanse. Yeah, I'm wondering if there isn't a sort of staggered. We do the Blue Rose thing, something around Blue Rose, perhaps. Um, at the beginning of the month, and the next event is, or the next space is dedicated to maybe all the age games or discussions. Another part of this that I don't want to forget is that our very own Chris Pramus, you might have heard of him, is going to start a creative. He's going to start a kind of creators blog, like it'll be available on the think tank, and it'll be everything from minis to, it's just going to be Chris doing Chris, but creating stuff through a regularly updated blog that'll be just for you. So that's kind of exciting. In addition to things like, this is something I'm very, very excited about, panels, but really focused on creating. And so I'm not sure if folks have been able, maybe you have all had the opportunity to hang out with our good friend. I know, right? Stan says round calendars. We can do that. I'm telling you that it's got a look. I really like it. There's a couple other layouts that I dig too that kind of show the weekends, and they line the week up, and it's interesting to look at. Not very functional, but this, on the other hand, gives me lots of opportunity to sort of illustrate what goes down in a month in a nice visual way. So I'm glad you like it. Let's see. Paul says the problem I see with that kind of rotation is that if you're only interested in one system, you have a vast amount of space between installments. Very true. I'm also thinking about a system or a mechanism, at least for one event that happens in the month, where we kind of do almost like a popular vote, so that we're meeting sort of the larger group needs, but then we get into the more specific focused discussions or activities or those sorts of things. I also think that if we look at sort of imagine that we're doing a workshop like we're doing for Mutants Masterminds in the Cape and Cowl Club, and we decide to focus on something like uh, Ian decides that it's going to be his month to do some workshop stuff, that opens the door for Ian's focus, of course, Cthulhu Awakens and The Expanse. And while The Expanse is a licensed product and we can't do things for the Age Creators Alliance, we can sit and talk about things that you'll develop for your own table, and that's perfectly fine and fun as well. Let's see here. What else do we got? Yeah, Jay brings up something very interesting. I suppose you can start showing how they all connect and how they're different. I think that's going to be a very interesting opportunity for us to really start to educate folks who might not necessarily know the finer points of the Age game that's not in their collection. I think that one marker for success would be if by the end of all this, of course, there being no end, we'll say at the midpoint, we start looking at participation and that everybody's libraries are jam-packed with new Age resources, which I think is great. There is also a thing that I want to do. One of the things that I love about our community and about the TTRPG space in general is that the line between I'm a player and I'm a creator is really blurry in a good way. It means that we've got people who are playing our games and GMing our games, but they're also pretty good. I mean, expert level with some experience under their belt of creating their own TTRPGs and developing and doing those sorts of things. And so I want to support that in a way that has people participating in the program, but then leaving and understanding a little bit more about their capacity. And then to be able to even interrogate that capacity even more so with sort of panels. And, and for those of you who have had the opportunity to sit and listen to Malcolm speak on really just anything. I mean, we kind of go everywhere, but it's one of the joys of working with Malcolm is that he's, I'll say it, I believe, well, he's just a straight up genius. He's just very, very smart, and contextually being able to kind of apply all that brain meat to the art of talking about making games it's a skill that is, it's a very special thing that we get with Malcolm's brand of genius. And also he's just a hoot. He will get esoteric on you in a heartbeat, but is very quick to sort of unpack sort of that stuff. And so it's not as though he'll be speaking in tongues. Like sometimes you can sit with somebody who's just, you're sitting and you're listening to them and they're about, 80,000 times smarter than you are. And you're like, I love the noises you're making. I have zero clue what you mean. Malcolm does a great job making stuff accessible. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me see something. This is something too that he loves. I'm going to share it because I just think it's something that you all should remember. But some of you do your own digital artwork. He loves stuff like this. He loves that. He demanded that I do it. Oh yeah, that's right. David mentions that he can also critique your swordsmanship or swordspersonship or whatever, you want to call it. Because he is a swordsperson of many different type and variety, and a teacher, and he's got that experience. But I can imagine us sitting and talking about at these workshops different ways that people who are interested in taking what they're doing in the TTRPG space to the next level. David Bullock says, that reminds me, there must be some fun plans for year 25. Well, I had to mute myself for a second. I'm a little froggy and I don't want to clear my throat on air, but yeah, we do have some big stuff planned. Speaking of which, before we get to that, I mean, it's going to, certainly it'll be here before you know it, because it is just next year. But we're also planning some great stuff for Christmas. For the holiday season, it doesn't have to be a holiday that you celebrate. It will be an opportunity for you to receive uh, thoughtful gifts that line up with age and mutants masterminds and a couple other gravy based surprises that I won't spoil, but will be delicious. Let's see here. Waiting for age of sale. Yeah. Yes, sure, certainly. Paul says also you could look at age system in general and how it could be adapted to different systems and genres, blurring fantasy and modern age and creating urban fantasy. Absolutely. Um, there is, I haven't quite seen it uh, demonstrated yet or sort of put together, but Cthulhu and Blue Rose, there's a fit there. There's a real opportunity to do something very very fun, and the dichotomy between the two I think would make a really great push and pull uh sort of RPG moment. But yeah, so there is, I mean, I'll bring it up because Paul, just because you mention it, we are about ready to unveil. There's a couple loose ends we need to sort of figure out. And maybe one of those loose ends are someone who's listening now to the program. But I'm calling it the Skunk Works because I like the name of it, and it's in our community is a little skunky. It's basically a space where the community can put together their own homebrew, have a discussion about it, apply aspects of not just age games, but if there are systems within Mutants Masterminds or homebrew stuff that you do, it is basically going to be kind of the think tank inside the think tank. What it's not, just very clearly, is not a place for you to, for anyone really, to pitch, why we should be doing Thundar the Barbarian. I mean, that's not how we do biz. It's not how anybody does business, but it is a place for you to explore your favorite genre, your favorite stories, your characters, and all of that, and how the games that we make and the mechanisms, the systems that we provide within those games, how you may use them with to bring your idea to life, or a version of your idea to life. And that is something that I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm looking forward to um, seeing that space grow and be a real healthy space for the ideas to kind of get together and Thunderdome a bit, and to 3 ideas enter and 4 ideas leave, because it's such a great place for incubating. That's my hope. And if that's something that you're interested in, head on over to atomicthinktank.com and then send me a note. Look for me on the tank, send me a note there and say, hey, and include me in that. And so what we're doing right now is just some preliminary, as the folks who have expressed interest have time, we're going to build some of the initial architecture so that it's easy for people to onboard and get a sense of what the space is all about. With a schedule of regular, I'll say events, but it's just sort of opportunities to get together and talk. Now, that is not something that I'll necessarily be facilitating. I'll certainly help and sort of get the word out and all of that. But that's really a community-driven endeavor that we make space for and can support in that way. So if you are down to homebrew, we're putting that space. This space is already kind of put together to a degree. I think that there's probably going to need to be some changes, like naming conventions, that I just kind of pulled out of my creative place. But if you're interested in being on the ground floor of an idea like that and to help sort of develop it into something that the whole community can benefit from, we've got a space for you. So let me know, and I'm happy to add you. Let's see, what else do we have in here? Oh yeah, Blue Rose and Dragon Age, of course. Speaking of Dragon Age, now that you mention it, we are coming down to the wire. If you haven't seen it yet, our friends over at Drive Through RPG, they have put together a phenomenal bundle. And it's the let me actually share the screen. We'll get rid of this for a moment. We'll bring it back shortly. But you can buy the whole bundle of this stuff, and it's all the PDFs, of course, it's PDF, and you can get. It's expensive. It's not, when I say it's expensive, I mean when it's not on sale. But this bundle is 40% off. But if you put it all together in your cart, you will get, I believe, 60% off. And that's sort of the sale within the sale. Check that out. And you know what they say: Christmas is coming. The goose is getting fat. So head on over to Dragon Age and pick up this bundle and get a good deal. Yeah, we've got the core rule book, Faces of Thetis, Dragon Age Blood and Ferelden, Dragon Age Game Master's Kit, which I'm a big nerd for our Game Master's Kit. I really love them. I think it's just a really great, efficient way to have some handouts and all that good stuff. I love it. It sort of scratches the ADHD itch in my brain. We've got the Dragon Age creatures. That's $1.77. I believe that's the wyvern on the front there. Yeah, so here's that. The complete bundle, $29.99, normally $74.75. So, not too shabby. And then of course you get we had to include the quick start and then Duty Unto Death, a free little adventure for you, ready to go, ready to play, powered by the Adventure Game Engine. And the artwork is just, I think that the word is exquisite. It certainly, just look at that stuff. It is just, it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. I will say. But and not to put too fine a point on it, but Dragon Age will be included. Experiences, for Dragon Age will be included in the tank. So as part of the Age Insiders Club. So that is definitely something that we'll be getting into. But yeah, head on over there. The link is going to be dropped in chat. I was going to try to do a QR code, but my afternoon did not allow me the time to do so. So if that isn't already in there, apologies if I'm double posting. Enjoy that link. Get on over there. Pick that up because it's going to be over soon. And, here's the deal. The proximity to Christmas is sort of predisposes the sale for the filling of, your digital stocking stuffer and presents for your favorite GM or your player, or the friend who loves Dragon Age and says to you one day, they have a Dragon Age RPG, and you say, yes, they've had it for years and they talk about it all the time. But one only has to do a search for Dragon Age RPG, and you will be inundated with the history of this game. And you can pick it up over at Drive Thru RPG, 40% off. Do that. And tell them Troy sent you. No one will get you anything, and they might actually ask you to leave. But it's a thought that counts. Let me get my November schedule back up. Nope, that ain't it. Let's see here. Oh, and by the way, my November name, the character that I play is Turkey Hamwitt. I love it. I don't know why I'm so froggy all of a sudden. I was fine until the mic went on, and then you know how that goes. And window 2, our November party is there we go. So the other thing I wanted to talk. Oh, let me check out what's going on here in chat just to make sure I'm not missing anything. Fantasy Cthulhu to create weird pulp. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, David Bullock says Age of Sail. I don't mind a pirate, but I'm telling you, after working on a video game for however long I did, I think I filled my pirate quota. I'm stocked. I've got more pirate exposure than than one should ever want or need. Kevin King says new age books. So there are going to be, Malcolm on last Thursday did talk about new age books that are in the works, and he kind of hinted at it a bit. I certainly recommend you checking out last week's program, but I also, I don't want to build it up and have you just kind of hear some vagaries, but they're exciting stuff, and you may understand some of the code talk that we kind of, because it's early and there's stuff that we can't say, but there is certainly some big stuff. I will say, I'm going to check something right now because I can do it. And why not do it live? Because that's always fun. It is. I'm checking the channel in our Slack that has, I believe, information that you want me to share with a complete sentence, and I will refuse because I am that guy. But also, we don't want to give it all away. There is. I will say techno fantasy is imminent. And I mean super imminent. So that's coming. Let's see. I have an Age of Lestrid. Is that the Lestrade? Or is that his sister Lestrid? Or his cousin Lester? Id coming eventually, where I'll play Fighting of the Fate, the player character. I'm so glad that I'm picking up the habit of reading with my eyes before I start speaking things, because it's going to be rough one of these days. So instead of pitching Thundar the Barbarian, you look at system modifications, which would allow the systems to better simulate rather that kind of game. Indeed. And you can call it Thrandar the Barbara and create a world around her, because the Barbara is amazing. Hey Troy, any news on I don't know what you're talking about, and I refuse to acknowledge it. Or an organization, okay, and that's more stuff that I can't really talk about. Your pals who can't stop raving about their Veilguard game. I know. The reviews, too much pirate, indeed. Badass rockets, indeed. Techno fantasy is coming, noted. Yes. And when I say imminent, I mean quite. I mean, very much quite. It's teasing us with techno fantasy. Anything like blinding us with science? A little bit. Yeah. I'm blinding you with science. Is it Lestrid? I thought it was Lestrade. Or is it just spelled Lestrid? Or because Lestrid sounds like something you use to clean your toilet. Lestrade sounds like the guy that's going to, cause you some grief in some vampiric way. I mean, I don't know if I'm right or not. I don't really dabble in the D or the D. Let's see. One involves a friend. I almost said that out loud. It's the world of your stuff. It's your stuff, Jay. Of course. Yeah, that's there. Yeah, so I'm confusing. That is Jay Gray's setting. Less trid. I demand more trid. But yeah, that's exciting, Jay. Sorry to have confused that with that other thing, and I do hope you'll forgive me. So that is, there's a lot going on. There's a ton going. Is it really 2:45? I feel like I just started. There's only 15 minutes left, and I started relatively on time. Give or take a minute or so. But that being said, where do we leave off here? We've got there were a couple other questions that I wanted to, and here's the deal too. If you're listening to this on demand, maybe you decided to go through and catalog every one of the ThursdAGENTS and make some sort of reference sheet for people in the tank, which somebody did for Mumemo. Bless their hearts. They made it to about 2021, I believe. That's when they said, I'm going to need a little break from these past episodes, because, hey, they're all good. Mumemo, every episode is great. Some are better than others. And I'm here to say that, largely due to technical issues, which we'll blame Stan for. Yes, it's delightful. It's delicious. It's Lestrid. I'm sorry. Lestrid. And yeah, of course, we're giving Jay Gray the business. who's been working very hard on content for the Age Creators Alliance and is going to be publishing something very soon, I do believe, if I'm correct. And if I'm incorrect, let me know. So speaking of the Age Creators Alliance, I'll give you a little update. So there, as things evolve at any company, people get promoted, they move around, they do all kinds of stuff. And over at Drive-Thru RPG, which is where we manage the Age Creators Alliance and many of the other community content programs of ours. But specific about Age, we will be working with a new person, because our existing person is not going away. They're actually moving into other sorts of roles, another role, but working even more closely with us in that capacity. But we'll be working with the person who handles the what do they call it? The dungeon masters something, the D&D side of things. And so I'm looking forward to that, because we really want to elevate the program, and being able to work with somebody who's had opportunity to manage that aspect can really give us some insight into how we can, in our unique way, beef up the program over there. And I'm looking forward to it. There's all kinds of things to be discussed, right? Like things about art and making art available. We're having discussions about how do we do that? How do we do that for you in a way that gives you what you need, but doesn't require that we, license individual one shots of art. But that for people who are doing kind of their first thing, that we provide a healthy option or healthy collection of fantasy related age type art that you can use in a way that suits the thing that you're creating, so that it gets you to the finish line faster, so you can start selling your published works and then get to work on your next project. So the whole goal there: streamline it, make it easier to see and use and to participate in, and also not just sort of throw a collection of documents and templates over the wall and say, good luck, dummy. What we want to do is say, hey, let's talk about it. Let's sit down and get people who have always dreamed of doing that kind of work the opportunity to learn a little bit and build some of that capacity, and to understand sort of, it all seems very daunting until you do it that first time. And then, then you have the opportunity to learn that there's a lot of stuff you didn't know until you had to do it. And, but then over time, you just become an expert, and you can maneuver through your creative project in a way that suits the strictures and expectations of the Age Creators Alliance, but it becomes a shorthand for you, and then you can spend more of your brain power on the creative aspects and the working on the sort of the storyline and plot, and maybe preserve a little bit of that brain space to help the next person who's coming up behind you. And that to me is an important, I think, aspect for us to foster and to build and grow, because it's developing games is fun, and we're all, including myself, in the back of our minds kind of working on that dream TTRPG encounter. And my hope is that through the next year we see a lot more people with that dream being realized, and we offer as much help as is humanly or inhumanly possible, and we do that with the help of people who successfully publish through the Age Creator Alliance themselves. So that's something that that I'm looking forward to. And if it sounds philosophically like something that you would like to be a part of and you haven't published, let's talk. There is, in addition, I want to share this. This is what I have to do, because I talk about the think tank all the time because I flat out love it. I'm in love with it. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna marry it. I might already have. Let's see here. 1 second. Like, close all the chats that I have on the tank. One of the things I love about the Atomic Think Tank is that they are consistently, our friends over at Mighty Networks are consistently adding new features that kind of help amplify the coolness of the whole space. And they, they respond really well. Like when I was talking to them about, hey, I've discovered some bugs. They don't need labels. They have, yes, I did actually do, to answer your question. Consent is, priority number one. Let's get into it here. Let me share. I'll get rid of that for a second. And then I will do this and a little bit of that, which you cannot see. And then I will. All right. Mercy. I beg. There we go. And da-da, there we are. So what you're seeing there is Misfit Studio is one of the new. So it was really important to me that when we're looking at the tank, that it is just from top to bottom infused with and by the people that are doing amazing stuff and have done amazing stuff, like the creation of content. And the super powered by Eminem license allows folks to, under the strictures of the OGL, do their own Mutants and Mastermind stuff and sell it and enjoy and create. And so what I've done is offered the third-party publishers their own spaces to create a deeper connection with the community. And I'll tell you what, and I'll be perfectly honest, my ulterior motive is I want to support more of what those folks are doing. And it can be difficult when they're not plugged in to what we're doing. And so you can see here over here on the left, we have got lots of, there's the Skunkworks. I made a couple changes too that we'll go over here shortly, but when we're looking at the, this is for the Age Creators Alliance. We'll talk about that in a second as well. There's Valiant Comics. There's a space in there for you. Cape and Cow Club. Oh, we don't want to hide that. But you can see here lots of stuff going on in the Pinewood Project, as I said. But here's the super powered by Eminem space. There's a lounge for folks to hang out in, only the finest of whatever beverages and whatever. But I put together this sample page for the third-party publishers, and we have we've got Lewis Porter Jr. Design is in here, of Gods and Game Masters. The other thing we've got too is a commercial from Jack. Jack did a commercial that I kind of gussied up with some music and some, kind of made his voice sound epic, and it was a lot of fun. I share that now because if you are somebody who's working on age stuff and you've got a new release, tell me about it. Do a little 1 minute or 30-second or quick, however you want. Just make sure I can hear it and that there's not a lot of background noise and that kind of stuff. You want quality audio. And how do I get on the streaming schedule? I'll tell you, Jack, as soon as I'm off the stream. And I'll show you all while I'm doing it. But we've got the 2 new editions for Mutants Masterminds, Chimera Australia. Jason's just the coolest. And it's really fun to kind of get in here and see all the stuff that they've worked on. Misfit Studio, they've been doing this for some time. Steven's got a whole space here where you can kind of, we just launched it for Steve, so he's getting all the kudos and how do you do those. And as far as members go, look at how many members he's got. Quite a few. Look at that. All of these people who are lined up. Oh, look at that. I see an industry luminary hanging out in the, there he is right there. That's one Mr. Steve Kenson, or as you all know him, Mutant Semester Daddy. But anyway, so there's that. And hey, I know that guy too. John, being the only play wizards over at the Expanse stream Abraxas Precipice, which you have no doubt seen and enjoy. And certainly you saw John just doing his level best to make sure everybody on the internet knew what was going on with the Expanse RPG Transport Union Edition, did an actual play for us, and just got it done, did the thing. But if we look at the Age Creators Alliance, there's this space here, which everyone can kind of join. You can kind of hang out and see what's going on. And Jay's sharing some updates and lots of good stuff. The thing I should make really clear, and sorry if I'm ignoring chat for a moment, but this space, so this is Portfolio Labo. This is Ren's space to share Vitath adventures and updates and all kinds of good stuff. People who have questions, they come in and they, share some stuff. But all of this stuff, like the latest developments, events, and the features that you see here, 100% administrated by Ren. That's how this works, is that I create a space that is completely yours. I'll help by architecting, sort of the initial space, add you to it. You get to update and adjust it. And and very soon, actually, maybe even this week, we'll be having Jay Gray will have a space here that he'll be administering and sharing and talking and sort of doing all that stuff. And you too can have a space. If you are you're working on something actively that you're going to publish for the Age Creators Alliance, let's talk. And I'm happy to provide a space. And honestly, I think it's even better for people to know about something that's coming. So starting a little early before you're necessarily ready for showtime is perfect. It's exactly what these spaces are meant to be for. A nice space for you to maybe even do some playtesting and see what's going on, with the folks' sensibility as it relates to your initial ideas. The only requirement is that you use the space. That's it. And by using it, I don't mean that you have to sit and kind of, sit there all day and do that kind of thing, but just that you've got a nice cadence of updates specific to your development schedule, that kind of stuff, and make it so that we are, that it's contributing to the vivaciousness, if you will, of the tank. And so if that's you and you like the sound of that, then why don't you ping me at atomicthinktank.com. Of course, I would be. Am I Ronan Troy on? I always forget. What am I? Nope, I'm just straight up Troy Hewitt, gravy squatch enthusiast. My credentials, and let's talk. And happy to support you. And my whole thing is, if you are somebody who is, you don't have to be somebody who everybody knows what you're doing. You could be your first foray into developing something. This space is for you. This is I'm holding space very specifically for people who want to be engaged in and want to do these sorts of things, but know that they have some stuff to learn. This is the space for you. It is friendly, outgoing, convivial, if that's a word that isn't offensive, and if it is, I apologize. Space for you to get your questions answered and to see some best practices and to take the ones that work for you and ignore the ones that don't. For you to be on your own creative journey that is, the best kinds of developing your creative skills are spaces where you can collaborate and sort of run ideas past people who you trust their sensibilities. You see the work that they've done and you think, yeah, I like that. I like that flavor. I like that aspect or that piece of it. And one of the other things too that we're working on is that, for instance, for the Expanse, if people who are members, who become members, even if that's just for the 3 free months and you hang out and you say, no, it's not for me. I think that people who come and hang out will go, you know what? I like this because it's got value. But we're going to be doing things like we're doing for Mutants and Masterminds, which are things like stat blocks for the Keeping Cow Club, stat blocks monthly. There are Adventure Seed kind of things that happen called M&M Mix-Ups, which have the community picking absurd, mashups of villain, locations, and situation, I believe, that then Alex and or Steve have to create some content that supports that, or that is that includes those bits and pieces. It's sort of like Top Chef with weirder ingredients, and it tastes a little, funnier, but a lot of fun. And we want to do the same kind of thing for the Age Insiders program. And also one of the things I wanted to talk about as well is as we learn about how the community is using the atomic think tank, we're going to be making changes to it that are suitable to that using. So, for instance, one of the things that I thought, I'll say it's on me, was, I'll put everything together and we'll mimic the same structure that I put together for the M&M for the Mutants Mastermind space, which includes a space for, official announcements from us, a commons area, which is a chat and news and all kinds of stuff. Some information about here's a big hero point. Look at that. But a handsome hero point. And then it's got the Freedom City Library, which is made up of submissions from people who are writing articles about all kinds of stuff. And so it's the library. And in it, you will find all kinds of good stuff, including things like GM challenge and weekly challenges that folks participate in, and the winner gets a free PDF. They're choosing from the Green Ronin store, and the winner's picked randomly, but it's people who look at this guy right here, a prolific contributor to this space. So I wanted to build that same kind of notion, and then we have the Aegis files, and the Aegis files. Imagine you've hacked the mainframe of the Aegis files, and son of a gun, if I've forgotten what it is. It's like the aeronautical evil guys in slankets, and they keep a bunch of files on people. But the notion here is that you can contribute your stat blocks, things that you create in this space, and it's a place where people can borrow. Unfortunately, the way that Bitey does stuff is they tend to, when there's a long photo, it can appear as though this is a gallery of super crotches. That is not the intention. I apologize that that's what we get to see. But it is, there is a whole super there. So this is just a library of superhero crotches. It is more, much more than that. Conversations about, here's Matt Mabray, who is making some great contributions. The Liberty League returns. There are all kinds of great stuff. The stat blocks are so fun, original stat blocks, but the notion here is it is a, take a hero, leave a hero. It's a collaboration. It's an opportunity for you to go, oh, I like that. I'm going to incorporate that into one of my adventures, or that notion I'm going to amplify it or evolve it. But that's what it's for. And I want that same kind of thing for Age, but there's just different sensibilities. And so instead what I've done is I moved everything Age titles, because me and my creative naming, I just really pushed the envelope there, but I've moved everything into that space where the commons, where people can talk and discuss all the things that are going on. We can put events there. We can, for the Expanse, we can start to make sure that the streams are, here's streams that this is about Abraxas Precipice. And I just want to be sure that we are providing a space for people to find with ease their specific Age game of their choosing, and then we'll expand it moving forward. So we did a little contracting, making sure all the Age titles are represented. So people come in looking for that. They just bought Dragon Age, or they just bought the Expanse Transport Union Edition, and they want to get to business. They want to just start talking to people in the Expanse community. Well, this is where it's done. And then as we develop things and they kind of grow, and there's a need for some additional stuff, or we decide that, hey, the Expanse space here needs its own dedicated collection, then we'll be on it like a bonnet. Very quick like. So, and I like the reaction so far. I'm going to switch over to chat real quick to kind of see what folks are saying. Kate the Great says, all crotches are definitely valid. That's very true. But as someone who puts a lot of time into photos I took, make sure my profile pics were cropped correctly. Yeah. What's funny about that is that it's the way that that Mighty format stuff, because it's, I don't, here's the reality. They didn't do it on purpose. It just kind of centers to it immediately formats to the center of the image that you provide. And it just so happens that about midpoint on every hero is a crotch, generally speaking. And so, yeah, we're going to be, I know. It is, I've talked to them about it. There's not much we're able to do, unfortunately. But they know about it, which is great. The other thing would be for folks to just upload the headshot and not the crotch shot, but it's not like that's what they're doing. So, it's a weird quirk of the space, and hopefully maybe what they can do is just default to the top, which is, makes more sense to me anyway. Thank you, Kate. Oh, Kate, the great. Honestly, you are a dang delight. Kate, we had on the last Mumamo, and she just blew the doors off the place with her effervescence and organization and the whole thing. She is partnering with One Cloud, as we all, I'm certain you are all, I know that this is the age side of the house, but, and I don't mean to mix flavors too much, but they are two great tastes that taste, semi all right together. But a lot of great things coming out of that crew. They've got an actual play that they're working on with some phenomenal character, where you want to check out the Mutants and Masterminds episode from last week if you even like a hero. If you just have ever liked heroes, if you, you will enjoy it quite a bit, because I did, and I've been doing that show for 5 years. So fun. And yeah, that's right. That's what I say. Mix them up. Mix up the flavors. Sometimes you might get a butter and a butter flavor, and I don't know what's another gross, jalapeno or something. Well, that actually sounds kind of good. Sometimes you get the. Also, I do. Recently, I've been told that the flavors I didn't like of the particular jelly beans that I was eating was because they were actually flavors like booger or grass. And I didn't know that. And so I'm like, wow, every once in a while, you just get kind of a bad one, just not a good flavor. And I don't know what that is. Maybe some kind of manufacturing error. Turns out, no, it was by design. And also, the grass isn't a bad jelly bean flavor. It's weird, but it's, not as bad as booger. Booger. Who does that? Only rude people. Hey, listen, Kate, there is a standing invitation for you. I don't care where I'm at. I don't care if I'm, I don't even know what. You're invited to come and hang out. Absolutely. One of us. Let's see. David said it'd be better if it scaled to whichever dimension was larger. Yeah, I agree. Not one to want to get into the weeds with a developer on how unfortunate it is that our superheroes are, your first introduction to them is via crotch. Again, us, par for our course, right? That leave it to Mutants and Masterminds folks, Green Ronin fans, to introduce a complication. That's something we do quite well, and I kind of like it sometimes. That one's just a weird one that to us seems maybe a little more urgent to Mighty Networks. They don't, I think, necessarily understand what my complaint is yet. I don't know. They're just like, you guys are doing something really weird that we're not. We were never equipped to do that, but we're glad you're here and we'll help. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. More on Crotchgate in the future. Let's see here. I just want to make sure I'm checking the chat. You're getting some bonus minutes. I'm not even going to charge you. You will not see this on your bill. The Mysterious War Gazebo. I'm reading backwards, which is always great because I'm personally against the notion of linear thought. It's, that's for suckers. Convivial, relating to, occupied with, or fond of feasting, drinking, and good company. Thank you, Learn Music. I'm glad to know that when I used the word convivial, it was not offensive and that it fit. Because sometimes I just throw it against the wall and we see what happens. Let's see. Tempo says, okay, good. I thought, so here's the deal. I don't know if you folks know this Tempo character, but very smart, and we'll pick up on a thing, a secret of, and just have it fleshed out, and then have very pointed questions that really get to the meat of the matter much earlier than we're prepared to answer. So I was a little worried when I read this. I thought for sure that Temple might have seen something that was secret that I thought I hid, which I did, I think. But I guess we'll find out. So in the atomic think tank, I see space for M and age, but I don't see any for orc. That's a good question. It's not because I don't like it, and it's not because I've talked with folks, in our team, and I've just said, hey, we should give a little more love to orc. It exists, and let's kind of do some stuff. And they were like, oh yeah, okay. I think that when you've been doing this for here almost 25 years, it can be very easy to go, oh yeah, that's a thing that we did that many moons ago. And so, whereas I've only been here, 5 years or 6 years. Is it 6 years? I don't know. It feels like 25. No, it doesn't actually. I'm always finding out new stuff. And so, one of the things that I really appreciate about our community is that oftentimes you'll help me fill in the blank in the context that I can provide it easier to you, or find ways to facilitate a better connection. And so, because you mentioned that, I'm going to go back and I'm going to say, hey, listen, orc, we need a space for it. And it's all right if it's not necessarily super populated, but I think it's a good, people did enjoy and do enjoy it and had some fun with it, because it's kind of a silly, fun sort of rendition of orcs, if I'm remembering correctly. Let me see. What am I? Oh, Jay Gray had to go grab the kidlins from school, and let's make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, Kate said I put up an event for the first superhero origin show on Don't Kill My Character, and I think Curly Claude is working on a group space. I believe that is the case, and as soon as I hear from him, we can kind of front load some of that stuff. But we definitely want to make sure that you've got the space in there to stake your claim to a little corner of the atomic think tank, so folks know where to go to interface. Let's see. Stan says, I think I used to subscribe to Stat Blocks monthly. What a great magazine. Is that real? Is that a real thing? Because it does sound a little bit like Engine, and I have it on good authority, but don't hold me to it. But it's pretty good authority that Engine number, is it 3? Have we released 2 yet? I mean, certainly we have. No, we haven't, I don't believe. So there's some good stuff coming. And we'll be doing some event stuff to sort of celebrate the like we did for the first one, where people came to the, I believe, was it Engine 0, as we like to do? Was it Engine 0.5 or whatever? Engine -3. However we decide to manage that naming convention, I'm certain it will be overwrought, but people who came to that event, they got a free copy of Engine, and it was worth it. That is such a great thing, and that's another sort of exciting bit of Malcolm's genius at work with there's all kinds of stuff in there. Interviews with people that are part of the community. There are submissions from folks who are doing homebrew stuff, and a way for folks who are like, hey, I want to submit, or kind of add a really cool resource to Engine. You can do so, and the resources to do so are listed in the actual releases. So it's a really fun. It reminds me of the back in the olden days. My grandfather's really big into the kind of the pulp mags, the science fiction, science fantasy stuff. And I don't know if there are any Omni fans. Loved that magazine. Loved it. As a kid, I was very much into it. Super fun. And but there was also the little pulp mags that had like Coke. I almost said Cocaine the Barbarian. I don't know why, but Conan the Barbarian stories and all that good stuff. Look at the time; it's 3:15. You got about 14 minutes of bonus content, and it was all worth it. I'm certain you enjoyed every last minute of it. But I will say this: I do enjoy every last minute of hanging out and getting an opportunity to share with you all the good stuff that's happening, both in the community and then what we've got cooking with Green and Renine. I want everyone to buckle up. The holidays are coming, and I'm really looking forward to hanging out with everybody. and doing some fun holiday stuff that we've been planning for you, and just to bring in the holiday season with people that I'm awfully fond of. Those people being you, most of you. I also will say that you very must have a fantastic rest of your week. Don't let anything get you down. Don't let anything trick you into thinking that it's impossible, because it isn't. There are good things on the horizon. We will have a great time together. So I want to say thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your week. You got questions, you need things. You heard something on this program that you were like, wait a minute, head on over to the tank. Just give me a ping. I'm more than happy to ignore you there. Just as happy as I was to ignore you via email. But it makes it a little difficult because it is sort of live and real-time chat. So I tend to respond and do enjoy doing so. So with that, I bid you adieu. I hope you've enjoyed ThursdAGENTS, and we'll talk to you soon. Goodbye, everyone.